Supreme. My shit glitching already because that energy high. early. But Supreme rising, yo. Something about to come up. I got a jewel I gotta drop. I was letting it marinate yesterday. But I got a jewel I gotta drop. You know, there's a sincerity that exists that people in a whole will not absorb. You don't got enough people out here feeling the power of love with strength. It's not a compatibility. If people have power, they are underlined disrespectful. They have like this type of, and their power comes from the same energy that serves anything that goes against divine. So you got to look at these things in existence. Like you can't say shit like, oh, we're on the same page, we're equal, but then your whole characteristic trait is about, finding ways to make you seem as if you're more than what you are. And I don't have to speak to no national issues, no systemic problems to speak in a level of power. One thing has nothing to do with the next. And I believe people fail to realize that it's not about a perspective. It's not about how somebody can come up with an imaginary circumstance to give you an outlook on to say, well, what if this happens and then that? None of that shit really matters. Those are mentalities from the mind of a person that comes from a lineage based off those aspects. The rest of the cultures are taught these things. So if I go back to whatever particular years, you can see the issues that are being multiplied that we call normal issues today. So I don't have to sit here. Most people want to have a debate. Well, why are you talking about this? Why are you talking about it? Listen, because that's where it comes from. It comes from certain individuals, you know what I'm saying, carrying a certain characteristic trait. And not for nothing, at the bottom of my feet, I don't never know what's down there until I pick at it. Because it's at the bottom of my feet. You feel me? Like, that's a reality. Like, sometimes you don't remember the last time you shit and piss because they're leaving your body. It's certain things are not supposed to be attached to a conversation or a way you think. And that's the problem with our system right now. It's the problem with our country. It's the problem with our world. And the rest of the world don't even have, most of the rest of the world don't have that thought pattern. They're being taught it. They're being taught it right now through social media and TV and the spread of, whether people see it or not, the Germans being spread it. And other countries know this, so they're trying to fight some of these things from coming into their area and having it become a norm. They're fighting it. But automatically, nobody don't look at that as a whole picture. Everybody looks at it as, this might be of value. That's because you're digesting negative shit. That's because you're being darker than you even aware. Especially when you're an innocent person and you don't know none of this shit, you kind of dive into it because you look at it as opportunity. If you wanted to see something good or great, it would be the salvation of the system. Listen to what I'm saying. The system itself honoring how and what it came from. And they knew this was already promoted to them eons, mad years ago, honor them. So what they did was they created museums. And they decided to write a version of what we want to call history. But none of that shit is real. Like, you don't honor people by doing that. You honor them by placing them where they're supposed to be. Like, if I go save, like, the other day, right, I was walking. And it was a grasshopper on the ground. It looked like something fucked it up or whatever. Like, it was fighting. It was like I'm about to die. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was scared of me. So I went and I picked it up. It was trying to jump away because it was scared. Like, its last little bit of energy. Like, so I picked it up and I put it where it likes to be. The shit had nothing to do with how I felt. I'm bigger than it. I'm a giant compared to that grasshopper. So I took it out of the middle of the road where it can get ran over at, and I put it on a leaf that had coverage to where if it wanted to eat the leaf, it could eat it or it could die right there in peace. But it wouldn't be in the middle of the road, right? That's a natural response to things. And you know what's crazy? While I was doing this, I didn't notice that I was being watched. I'm being watched by two deers and a bird watching me. The only reason why I knew that is because after I placed after I placed the grasshopper where I wanted to, something startled me and I turned around and I saw two deer run the other direction and a bird fly off in the opposite direction. And I'm like, yo, they were watching me do that. And I felt something watching me, right? So I'm like, that's crazy. And I felt the intention, like the whole, what I thought was crazy deep at that moment. Like I felt it powerfully, you know what I'm saying? And then I just like shrugged my shoulders and walked off. But it wasn't a bad thing. It was like something was watching me do a divine act. It don't take much to be real. It takes you getting out of your mind. And not for nothing, I seen a post, people was like, yo, why do you have to record you doing good to somebody or doing good for somebody? You know what I'm saying? Why does that have to be a thing? The hell? That's Ike. I ain't know Ike was on. But hold on. So naturally, I don't think it's in the DNA of certain creations to be like that. I don't think it's in, because you can have a conversation, but then the combatants is always going to be there, right? So even with science, you just see it naturally, like that's supposed to be a normal thing now. A lot of normal things are normal because they're made normal, not because they're natural. And that's just something that gives like a different set of awareness. You know, it's easy to do certain things once you comprehend the other energy, right? So it's been times where me personally, like I could be in a certain thought and I'm looking to do the higher value of the choice. And the higher value of the choice will get compared to another thought in my head. It'll just come in to play a role and I'll be like, why are you even, like I'll come at it in a form. I'll be like, why are you even speaking? Why you even, nobody asked you for your opinion. You know what I'm saying? I say stuff like that because the first thought will come in already and give you everything you need to act on. But majority of the time, we can't reach that value of divine connection. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a whole, I've seen a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, be in different energies, but then switch to another energy right then and there, depending on how they feel about anybody. And those potentials, people like to say that you become empathic. I don't believe that. I believe everybody's empathic on a certain level. I believe every single person on the planet is empathic on a certain level. They just don't pay attention to what they pick up on. And because you don't pay attention to it, it fragments in a way to make you believe that it's not normal for you, so you don't know how to access it. So since you can't access it because you've been like pushing it away for so long, when you do get a real signal, you you take it lightly. You take it lightly and you brush it away like it's not important. You know what I'm saying? But that be the divine pushing through everything that you build up to stop those things, to stop that feeling. Like divine is always there to help you, whether you want to know it or not. Like divine is always guiding you through life, period. Through the things that seem like they're harder or the things that are not as hard or whatever. Like, and you'll sit there and let people put it in your mind, well, there's somebody else out in the world struggling more than you. Well, that has nothing to do with you. Your life is your own. You know what I'm saying? If it was the fact of the matter that that was a matter, then one light that was brighter than the other would be in a differentiate the way we would accept it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that light is brighter, so nah, we don't see it like that. We just deal with the light that comes. And keep in mind, the most important light to us is what warms up the surface of the earth, because it gives back off heat. We think heat comes from the sky. Nah, it's coming from the earth. You know what I'm saying? We just know that it transmutes from the sky into the earth and changes the heat, and we think it's hot above when in fact it's a lot colder above. So like things happen for us all the time, whether we see it or not. And the world knew that, so the world was going to use us in all our variations for control purposes, whether that was mentally, physically, spiritually, you know what I'm saying, anatomically, like it doesn't matter. Like they use it in every single aspect. But conglomerately, blah 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 blah. Conglomerate, 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 we're not together enough to make the sound decisions that go against legislation, because it's something that they do called plant, and they plant certain people and groups of people in different neighborhoods, so therefore they can separate you with logic against naturality. So you'll say, well, if we just come together and stop it, that'll be the first thought. And they'll say, well, let's not think rash. Let's try to think to where we can all come together and make a decision that benefits everybody. That's what somebody will say. That's because they're trying to hold on to the system. That's not sound. You don't make a natural decisions don't benefit everybody. They benefit everything that falls in a natural situation. And when you go against that, you're going against the earth itself. So if you can't deal natural, we can't make a decision based off the unnatural first. We have to make decisions based off the natural and then use that natural connection on a high frequency to subsidize the unnatural. That's how it's supposed to be. But they reversed it because they knew that was the value. So now you feel alien in something that was given to you. You're treated like this is not your home. You're treated like you have to pay someone else to live when in fact they are not natural. So how can someone that doesn't own what you have, doesn't come from what you are, charge you to be where you are? Let's make it make sense. And how many people are involved in allowing this to be, but they look at it as a normal thing. They'll say, well, this just how things are. No, you're afraid, and because you gain a little something, you want to keep your spot. That has nothing to do with reality. That has nothing to do with the right basis of choices. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some people, like, if you right-handed, you're going to move with your right hand first. If you left-handed, you're going to move with your left hand first. That's why it's less left-handed people in the world than it is right-handed people. There is a natural way, and then there's ways that follow. Like ambidextrous will be the third way. You could use two of your hands. But it's not as many people that are ambidextrous than it is the people that are left-hand. And it's not as many people that are left-hand than it is many people that is right-hand. So why would I do it the other way around first? Like put the ambidextrous people as the most needed people on the earth when it ain't that many motherfuckers that is ambidextrous. It makes no sense. You see what I'm saying? But in this system, they try to destroy everything that's natural and put what's unnatural in front of you. Look at how we live. Look at the things we buy. You sit in a chair that's made with unnatural products. They got the melted, sanded, steel it, and all this other stuff before they give it to you. But it came from nuts, and you got the same processes that are natural. You got the best weavers in the world. You got silk. You got spiders. You got bamboo. You got so many things that can weave, and you don't have to process it, but just bend it and twist it, and it'll be natural. But we choose to build factories that melt and make, you know what I'm saying? You can have so many factories that don't need the exhaust aspect, you know what I'm saying, to where we can still produce natural things. Nobody want to live like that. That's because what's unnatural is in control of the natural place we are. Make it make sense. Let me come to your house and do what I want. Let me go through your bank account and live how I want to live. Let me just walk in your refrigerator and all your little secret safe spots and your little rooms and just do what I want. Cause that's how you live here. So if I come in there, it shouldn't be like, why you at my house? I'll be like, cause I want to. That's how we do. Remember, it's equal for all of us. So I should be able to just, go anywhere, go any store, go any place, and have whatever I want in there. Because that's how, the unnatural treat the natural. Look how they treat the animals. The animals got to live in the zoo for their comfort on their place of living. It's just a deep concept of reality. You know what I'm saying? And nobody really look at it. Y'all want to debate with people instead of actually making things happen. And then the people who are a part of the ill natural, they saying, well, yeah, this is right and this is right, but nobody's doing anything. Nobody's doing anything. Like, I'd have dropped enough jewels at this point so where everybody can have the clear understanding of really where we sit on the earth. You know what I'm saying? And not for nothing, just because something looks like you, it doesn't mean that it's rational in its mind to serve the whole of what we all live on. The biggest thing here is what we live in. That's the biggest thing here. There's nothing bigger than that. You got people that can use microphones and talk loud and, can be in lines of cars and, have the big weapons that make the big booms and all that. Nobody give a shit about none of that. A life is a life. It can go, it can come, just like water flows. But to have somebody controlling everything natural just because they want to, that's not an actuality. That's something y'all allowing to happen. People are just allowing that to happen. And at any scale, it's always going to be the majority of the people. You don't need nobody to tell you to think rational. Let's make the best decision so it all works out for everybody. Fuck that person. Sit them in the corner somewhere with a dunce hat. Get them out the room. They don't need to be saying nothing. And that first thought that says everybody come together and we stop this to make a change, that's the energy y'all need to walk on. Facts. It takes numbers. Numbers make motions. You know what I'm saying? And numbers don't make legislation change. Numbers, it casts a level of divine fear. It's like a giant when you got numbers. It's like a swarm. So numbers change things. And if you're going to have the same people that control everything in the numbers, it's only going to lead back to being controlled again through false logic. That's the problem that we deal with. So, not for nothing, people can govern themselves if everybody was equally valued or had the opportunity to be equally valued, meaning everybody in their areas potentially can eat normally. They can succeed normally in whatever value that means from the standpoint of where we all have knowledge at. People think imbalance brings balance. That's not true. It causes more issues. So, and it creates knowledge. It creates people like me who see the scales are off. They're unbalanced. I can see the people who's supposed to hold the scales, they live in unbalanced thought patterns. You know what I'm saying? But they supposed to be the divine scales. I can see each sign that are on their demonic energy instead of on their divine energy. That's a thing I can do. This is why I look to help people change into that value of their divine aspect of reality. Knowledge is not always about what you do here on earth. It's about you and you blooming. Like when it's time for you to switch from growing into vegetation and then from vegetation into flowering, like those are different nutrients that come with it. So people say you're adult twice, you're a baby twice and adult one time. You know what I'm saying? I believe you're a baby 3 times in your adult existence. You know what I'm saying? Like just coming into this physical makes you an adult because you're an ego, right? So even as a baby, you're an adult because you control what you need by your actions. So forth and on, it follows that. But each stage from growing, you turn into a new baby when you start to vegetate, and then you turn into a different baby when you start to bloom because you need that transitional energy. You know what I'm saying? That's just my understanding, you know what I mean, of it. And you can see where people start to react to those as particular values. You can see when they be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, this is changing in my life, this is happening or whatever. And you can see them not know what to do in those mentalities, just like a baby. So I ain't gonna hold you. Just be trying to show you something. The sun coming up, as you can see. The lights is coming on. All right. Start your week off great. Supreme Rising. NAGA the Wise.